What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So we're once again here with another off-season rebuild, as today we have the Philadelphia 76ers, who currently finished up as the 13th seed out east. Now, obviously for the Philadelphia 76ers, their season did not go as planned whatsoever. It went south very fast, honestly. They weren't very good most of the season. They had a bunch of injuries, and they'll be looking to bounce back next year. So let's go ahead and jump in, talk about this 76ers team and their situation, and let's do this 76ers offseason rebuild, NBA 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. YouTube tells me about 56% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed. So if you do follow that, want to change that, that'd be awesome as we're on the road to 50,000 subs. Also, I am recording this ahead of Knicks Pistons game 3, along with, I think it's like Clippers and Nuggets, and then the other game, I think, is Lakers and Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys won't see this video till Friday. I'm recording this Thursday morning, basically, for the NFL draft as well, if you care about that. But let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. So, obviously, the 76ers season, like I said, did not go as planned. The injuries really derailed them. Embiid was very not much in the... let me rephrase that. He was not in the lineup very much at all this season. Paul George had a very bad year as well. They give him a contract, and it doesn't look like it aged very well, but he's looking to bounce back next season, and I think he will. I'd like to think that Paul George will bounce back next year, but I guess remains to be seen. Obviously, acquired Quentin Grimes at the deadline, and he was awesome for them down the stretch, so we'll have to re-sign him. But the 76ers also could have a good lottery pick this offseason, so he could be in a good position. Embiid rumors will happen, but I don't think this is going to be the right time to trade him. I think this would obviously be his lowest value, which is why you probably wouldn't trade him just yet. But maybe if this season fails, then you really have to consider things about maybe moving on from Embiid and the whole trusting the process era, I guess. So, the Thunder go on to beat the Knicks in 5. I feel like that's the first time I've seen the 2K simulation give the Thunder some love, so that's cool. But here are your retirements: Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, Eric Gordon, and Nicholas Batum. Let's go jump into the lottery. I'm pretty sure the Philadelphia 76ers pick is like top 6 protected or something like that. So as long as we stay in the top 5, we should be good to keep this pick, which would be nice. So let's go ahead and see if that is what happens. So skip to the live results, and wow, we got the #1 pick. Okay, well, that just obviously made things very interesting. So we get to add Cooper Flagg to this team, which is pretty wild. I was not anticipating winning the lottery, but it's definitely a realistic possibility that the 76ers could win it, and that would be absolutely wild. The Rockets also benefit off the Phoenix Suns. They get 2nd overall. Pretty wild stuff. So obviously this team, I'm fully anticipating trying to contend still, going at it again, running it back, and then adding whatever they can draft with the lottery pick. And again, if it becomes Cooper Flagg, then they're feeling even better, because even if this fails, you at least have Cooper Flagg for the future. So let's go ahead and get to the draft, because I don't think there's anything I'm going to do. Also, do want to be transparent with you guys. Obviously, I think we all know how much Paul George regresses in 2K. Well, I've made his peak end age up pretty high to where he won't regress so much, because, I don't know, I just have a feeling that Paul George is going to bounce back next year. I could be wrong, but I feel like he will. Maybe you guys don't agree. Let me know, I guess. But then also I have Embiid's peak end age to where he doesn't regress so much as well. So this team should have some shelf life still, because I feel like this team is going to be able to bounce back. Now, the injuries might derail them again, and that would not shock me, obviously. But if you added Cooper Flagg, then it would make it all, make it A-okay. So let's go ahead and jump in, and obviously, we know what we're taking here. We can add Cooper Flagg to the 76ers team. This new starting 5 is going to be very interesting to look at, but I can't wait to figure it out. We have Donnie Freeman, and we got Dink in the 2nd round, so we'll go ahead and take Dink here. Boom! That's a pretty damn good start to this offseason. We get to capture the flag and add him to the 76ers. We got Oubre, team option, which we'll accept. We'll accept Edwards, Jared Butler, and Lonnie Walker. Do we actually want to decline Oubre's team option? This is kind of an interesting decision, because I feel like we have, obviously, Justin Edwards, and then we're going to add Cooper Flagg. There may not be, and we have Paul George already. We have Yabusele. I actually think I'm going to decline Oubre's team option. I don't feel like there's going to be a path to him to play too much, so I'm going to decline it. And Edwards is going to be the guy that's playing more than him anyway, so I'm going to decline Oubre's team option, funny enough. Yabusele might be somebody to bring back, and obviously we got to bring back Quentin Grimes. Although, it will be kind of interesting to see what his market will be this offseason based off what he did, obviously, towards the end of the season. Is he going to get, like, the $30 million he's asking for? Or is it going to be somewhere around, like, $18 million a year? It'll be interesting to see that. I think 18 would be more realistic, but you never know. I won't rule out the idea that he could get more than that. So we have Tyrese Maxey, Jared Butler. We have Jared McCain, Lonnie Walker, Paul George, Cooper Flagg, Justin Edwards. So I think obviously Cooper Flag will probably start the 4 for us. Adem Bona can be the starting center. So Flag will start the 4. Paul George the 3 with Edwards backing him up. Lonnie Walker, and then you got Jared Butler. So this is already looking like a pretty good, solid rotation. So the only other thing, like I said, is re-signing Quentin Grimes, which will get that figured out, but I don't know how much money he's going to ask for. Bryce Sensabaugh being waived is just something that always confuses me, but I am going to go ahead and go for Justin Champagnie, who's always very cheap at 24 years old. So I'm going to sign Champagnie to a deal, and I think we're going to basically wait out Quentin Grimes. I want to see what he's going to get, and if someone offers him, and boom, an offer sheet's being made. This would be an interesting decision for the 76ers. It's a 4-year, $108 million deal, so he is getting an absolute bag from the Brooklyn Nets. Would the 76ers match that? I actually don't know if they would, if I'm going to be honest with you, but I think I'm going to, because I want to keep him, but it would not shock me if the 76ers could not afford that. So I'm going to go ahead and match it, though. We'll bring in Quentin Grimes back. We'll match the offer sheet, and we'll keep him around. So Brooklyn went all in on Quentin Grimes, which would be a very interesting decision for Brooklyn. But yeah, I guess that leaves McCain on the bench and Grimes as a starter, which I think is great. So yeah, we'll eventually move Flag to the 4, like I said, and you're going to have a damn good rotation going into next year. This should be a really good looking team. So instead of Paul George always regressing down to like the 790 goes down to, he remains at 83, because I think at the very least, he could still be an 83 overall. Like, I don't think he'd go down to a 79, but again, remains to be seen. I could be totally off touch. I could be wrong, and he would absolutely just continue to plummet in his value, and the 76ers would regret that contract forever. But I guess I'm hoping that he gets better for them. So let's go ahead, look at this rotation for year 1, because this team should be pretty scary in the East after we just added Cooper Flag to this equation. So power rank lists us 7th overall, and the proficiency is 4.5 perimeter centric. So I guess we'll go ahead and move it to that. So we'll move Nick Nurse's system to perimeter centric, and we can look at the starting 5 because it looks pretty damn good. So I can't wait to kind of see how this is going to work out. So here is your starting 5. Maxey, Grimes, Paul George, Cooper Flag, Embiid, McCain as the 6th man, Justin Edwards, Champagnie, and Adem Bona is your rotation. So that does leave Jared Butler out, which is fine. I'm cool with the 9 rotation for this season. So Grimes and Paul George are getting only 26 minutes a night. Maybe that works out. That way Paul George can kind of like, pace himself and hopefully come back and stay healthy. And then what are the shot tendencies? Because I'm kind of curious for this team. So we have Embiid's is high, Maxey's is high, and Quentin Grimes, although obviously he had a high, shot chart towards the end of the season, I would have to imagine it probably comes down. So I would be fine leaving at maybe let's say 55. McCain's is 64 off the bench. I maybe push that up just a tad bit. Paul George is an 84, and then Cooper Flags is an 80. So I'm cool with that. So let's go ahead and simulate year number 1. This is going to be a very fun team. I cannot wait to see how this is going to go. Do the 76ers get saved by the Flag? We shall find out. I will see you guys at the end of year number 1. So at the end of year 1, Shea wins MVP. Flag is your rookie of the year. Malik Monk is your 6th man Giannis defensive player. Montez Bazelis most improved. And Paul is your clutch player. And Jason Kidd is your coach of the year. And Hobson is your executive. So it was a very interesting season to say the least. And I'll show you why in just a second. I'm kind of hoping to see him beat on one of these, but he is not going to make an All-NBA team. But I was kind of hoping he would. So, I'll talk about why in just a second. But Cooper Flag was all defensive second team as a rookie, which is amazing. And all rookie first team, obviously. We are in the play-in as the 8th seed. Yeah, we finished up at 41-41. It was very interesting because we started off super hot, then we got super cold, and it got hot again, and then we got cold again. So it was very weird because it looked like we were going to finish like plenty of games over 500, and then it just like plummeted a couple times, and that's why we end up as the 8th seed. Now, we only have to win 1 game to get in, which is nice, but we'll have to see if we can win against the Brooklyn Nets. So here were the stats. So you had 26 from Maxey, 22 and 10 from Embiid, so still very serviceable numbers. McCain had 17 off the bench, which is awesome. 13 from Paul George, and then 10 from Quentin Grimes. So very solid stuff, but all that matters is obviously trying to win here to get into the playoff dance, because as long as we get in, I feel like we're going to be a very scary lower seed for anybody to deal with. So let's see how this play-in game is going to go. So we go to Brooklyn. I mean, I feel like we should be able to beat this team, but as you can see, it may not work out that way unless we come back, which we're kind of getting closer. But no, we're going to lose in the play-in game. So we got one last chance to play Orlando or Toronto. It's going to be the Magic. And if we get in, we play the Knicks. So We get in over the Knicks. We're going to be at home, at least for this one, but does that matter is the question. So we have the lead right now, but they take it. I would love to be in the play-in tournament with this, or the playoffs with this team, and we do make it. So I kind of want to see how this team would do in the playoffs. I'm glad we did make it in. We do play the Knicks, and this is the last team the 76ers did play in the playoffs, so this is going to be interesting. McCann's going to enter the starting lineup, so I guess it's fine. I'm sure that'll switch up here in a little bit, but the New York Knicks have Brunson, Mikal, OG, Josh Hart, and Karl-Anthony Towns. I do feel like there's a possibility we could upset the first seed, but here we go. Game 1 goes to New York. They beat us by 20. Game 2, so far, this is not going towards any kind of upset, and we're down 3-0, and we win Game 4, but we are still down 3-1. So unless we plan on coming back from 3-0, we are in massive trouble right now as far as ever getting Embiid a championship in Philadelphia, and it's going to be a close one, but they are going to win in 5. So 101 to 106. A lot of things to think about after that result, I will say. So maybe it is time to hand the keys over to, Maxey and I guess Cooper Flag, and maybe it is time to pull the plug on Embiid in Philadelphia. I didn't want to have to do that today, but based off those results, it might be the best thing we have to do, because Paul George's contract is not going to be the easiest to get rid of. I mean, what did he do this year? And maybe if he was efficient from 3, he'd probably be 40% from 3. So there's still probably I don't know. Those are role player numbers, and the man's making $50 million. So we probably are going to be stuck with him for a while, which is fine. But Embiid, we can still at least get some value from, if I had to guess. So that is going to be the plan this offseason, I think, because I don't really know how else to better this team. I guess it'd be addition by subtraction and potentially in a potential way. Not sure, but clearly whatever we were doing did not work. So we have to do something different. So Pelicans get 1 via the Bucks, which is crazy. Thunder via Utah. Suns via Memphis. So I do think we're going to start to explore some Embiid trade ideas, because I feel like that's probably our best path to making this team better at the moment. So when it comes to an Embiid trade, the one thing I want to prioritize is bringing in a new 5-man, and I have a couple guys I would like to bring in place of Joel Embiid. So I don't know if we'll be able to make these work, but these are the 2 teams we're going to explore. First one being Miami with not Bam Adebayo, but Khalil Ware. So I kind of want to see if we can get Khalil Ware as a center return for Embiid. And the other option would be the Dallas Mavericks Derek Lively, who's only 22 years old. Just got a new extension, but obviously Derek Lively would be awesome, and I could see Dallas maybe being desperate enough to trade for Embiid. We'll explore both those ideas, but let's go ahead and start, which I guess I'd rather have Lively, so I'll start there. So we're going to go ahead and give Embiid, because they may not have enough to make this work, but we're going to try to make it work anyway. So, I mean, they could give us Gafford too, which would be pretty wild if we got them to do this, but we're going to see. So if we did Gafford, they still need, I don't think they'll be able to get to this, actually. Christie, yeah, this is going to be way too much salary they'd have to throw in here if I had to guess. They need $7 more million. I guess they could get there with this, but they're not going to give us this for Embiid. So, I mean, this would be a crazy return, but it feels unrealistic, so I'm not going to do that. So Lively's probably off the table. Let's go to Miami for Khalil Ware. At least we could have, take off Wiggins off of them if we had to, which would suck. We have Hero, but yeah, it's not going to happen. We have Slow-Mo. So yeah, Wiggins would have to be the return, I think, in this trade. So Wiggins, which isn't a terrible thing necessarily. And then we get Kyle Anderson. So yeah, it's Embiid for Khalil Ware, Wiggins, Kyle Anderson. And would they give us a 9th pick as well? I doubt it, but this is the hope I'm trying to get in return. They're not interested. What if we remove the 9th? Let's say we remove this pick. Does that make a difference? No. So let's say we remove the 9th pick. Let's do 2029 and 2030 or something. Would they do this? They're not interested in the trade. What if I gave you... Is there anybody I could throw in here for... I mean, I could throw Champagne in here. Maybe Champagne would make a difference. So let's say... Whoops, not Bam Adebayo. Let's do this 9th pick in return. No, not quite interested. Okay, let's go back to the 2029 and 2030. Still not interested. What about just one of them? No. Okay, what if I threw a bunch of seconds at them? We're gonna get closer to this trade. I mean, I feel like this isn't a crazy amount to ask for, but here we are anyway, having to... This is why I hate doing superstar trades legit in 2K, because I feel like Embiid could easily fetch this at the very least. This isn't a whole lot you're giving up if you're Miami. So Embiid for Khalil Ware, Wiggins, and Kyle Anderson straight up. They still say no to that. What if I give you a second? I'm not even getting any first in return. And I think that's kind of crazy. I'm not getting a single first. And again, Embiid trades are just, or all-star trades in 2K are just impossible to pull off legit. Like, trying to get the exact value that you would see. It just never works, and now we're getting no offers for Embiid. So we'll wait, I guess. So on draft night, we have nothing going on here, so let's go to player options. But Embiid is still the path I would love to trade away. I'm going to accept Dink here. Qualifying offers, Butler and Edwards, 2 guys I do want to bring back. And then free agency, obviously we have Butler and Lonnie Walker as free agents, but probably won't worry about Lonnie Walker. Now, Jamal Shed being waived is interesting because we don't have a backup point guard right now. So I guess we'd be moving on from Jared Butler if we did that. Wait, did Paul George retire? Wait a minute. Did he just retire on us? I've never seen him retire that early. But you know what? I'm not mad at it, actually, because we just cleared out $50 million off our books. So thank you, Paul George. You did me a favor, but I never anticipated he would retire, but he did, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know. I don't think Paul George retired that early, but it's too late. He already did. It does me a favor, to be honest with you, so not much I can do about it now. So we have the ability. So Paul George being gone makes things actually interesting. So now we could... Wiggins would have made sense for us actually now at that 3 spot, which makes things funny to think about. So again, I would love the Khalil Ware and Wiggins return, but what if offer? So we get Lillard and Kuzma, Kobe White and Buzelis, Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White, Jalen Johnson, Capella. I mean, it gives us kind of what we're looking for, but would Atlanta give us Jalen Johnson? I mean, they would pair Trae Young with Embiid, assuming they have Trae Young. I think Trae Young's a free agent, though. Edgecombe and Marketing, Sabonis, no. Franz Wagner, Devin Booker. Donovan Clingan and Scoot Henderson's very wild, but Clingan is the kind of center I'm looking for. Would Portland really be in on Embiid, though? I don't think so. That's why I'm going back to that Miami trade. To me, it just makes too much sense. They could pair Bam and Hero with Embiid, or Bam and Hero with, or they could pair Bam and Hero with Embiid. That makes them a very dangerous team in the East. I'm going back to that trade. I'm making it happen, man. It just feels like a trade that makes sense for both sides right now, and I want it to happen. So unfortunately, now they have to throw Jaime Jaquez in here to match Embiid's salary perfectly, but we're going to make this trade go through. I'm not even going to ask for any first-round picks, but this is what we usually do when it comes to superstar trades. They are the only trades I ever override because, like I said, making superstar trades somewhat realistic in 2K is really hard to do because, as you guys seen, I was trying to throw seconds at them just to take Joel Embiid. But Miami and Joel Embiid, to me, just makes so much sense. Bam and Hero with Embiid, and Embiid just had a good season. I know the risk is there with his injuries, but in 2K, we have injuries off. So now we have Wiggins, who fits us perfectly at that starting 3 spot, and Khalil Ware at that new starting 5 spot, which feels great. So that is awesome. And now we have Maxey, we have Quinn Grimes-McCain, we have Andrew Wiggins, Jaime Jaquez, and we have Cooper Flag, Penny, and Khalil Ware and Adem Bona. So now, for free agency, all we need to do is bring back Jared Butler. But better yet, I actually low-key want to go for Jamal Shed, who got waived, who's only 23 years old. So I'm going to go Jamal Shed and see if we get any... I mean, it looks like we'll get him. So Jamal Shed is going to be signed. We're going to renounce the rest of these guys. So boom. Or we might not renounce Edwards, actually, but I'm going to renounce the other 3. So Edwards is going to hopefully come back as qualifying offer. He's restricted still. So that'll be great. And we'll be ready for next season. So Embiid is gone. It's a new era. Flag will be taking over as that #1 role. Flag is up to an 88. McCain's an 86. Khalil Ware's an 84. 81 Jaquez. 80 Jamal Shed. 80 or 78 Adem Bona. Yeah, I was not anticipating Paul George retiring, but he is out of the way. Wiggins becomes the perfect 3-and-D wing as the veteran presence. He just shot 42% from 3 as well. Miami is going to look pretty good, obviously, with Embiid, Bam, Hero. They also drafted Elijah Arenas. You have Jovic still, Larson, Christopher. So they're going to be pretty good as well. So I'm anticipating seeing them in the postseason as well, but we shall see. So let's go look at the rotation for year 2. I'm very excited and optimistic that this team can bounce back. I didn't want to have to trade Embiid, but based off the results of year 1, I feel like we had to. So here is the rotation going into year number 2. You got Tyrese Maxey, Quinn Grimes, Andrew Wiggins, Cooper Flag, Khalil Ware, Jared McCain, Jaime Jaquez, Jamal Shed, and Penny as your rotation. So that does leave Adem Bona out of it. Also, let's shrink the bench utilization down. That could probably help as well. So that way we have our starters playing more minutes. But Flag and Maxey are obviously going to be the guys that we're really relying on here to be awesome for us this year, which I anticipate being the case. What is Flag shot tendency now also? So it is now a 84 shot tendency, so we can push this up to a 90 probably. We'll leave Maxey's at an 85, and McCain's at a 75 is fine as well. So I will see you guys at the end of year 2. Obviously, year 1 did not go well, so we're hoping year 2 is much better. Also, what was our proficiency? Although we're not up to a great start, it was a 4.5 still, so we'll see if things turn around. We're 1-6 right now, but a win streak could happen at any time. as we get a few in the row, but now the losses are coming again. So if this season doesn't go well, then we might have to look into the idea of, which so far it's not, Nick Nurse might have to be canned, because this is not going well at all so far, which is really disappointing, because I thought giving Flag the keys would maybe push us to where we want to be, but right now we're the 15th seed, which is just disappointing. But maybe we turn things around. So at the end of year 2, not a good season once again. We did finish over 500, which is great, but Cooper Flags makes All-NBA second team, averaging 24 and 11. But for whatever reason, this team is still not clicking. Flag, all-defensive team again. We are in the play-in as a 40 and 42 or 42 and 40 team, which again I'm very disappointed by. But 24 from Flag, 19 from Maxey, 16 from McCain, 14 from Grimes, 12 from Wiggins, and 11.5 from Khalil Ware, and 9 from Hami Jaquez. So I do think we'll more than likely fire Nick Nurse this offseason if things don't go as planned, which is going to be what we decide to do. Wiggins will be back in the starting 5. We get to play Chicago in the play-in, but we're not trying to be in the play-in tournament. That's not even remotely where I want to be right now if I'm the 76ers. And the Bulls are, this is a team, this is familiar territory for the Bulls, but we don't want it to be familiar territory for us, and we're not going to ever take the lead from the Bulls. So Nick Nurse's job is gone. It is more than gone. He is fired. He's a free agent. We're not bringing him back. What did the Miami Heat do, by the way? They didn't get far at all. Damn, I thought that team would be good. Mavericks and Pacers. The Pacers go on to beat the Mavericks in 5. So here, retirements Durant, Vucevic, and then let's go to the draft lottery, even though I don't think this part's going to matter for us too much. So Pelicans, Jazz via LA, Rockets via Phoenix. Okay. Staff signing, Nick Nurse, if you're still here, you're gone, and he is gone. Okay, so we can move on from Nick Nurse, because I don't know if it's his fault necessarily, but clearly something's not working with him, so I'm going to move on from him. I'm going to go for Tyronn Lue. I'm going to go for Quinn Snyder as well, but I think I should be able to get Tyronn Lue with the budget that we have. And then Doc Rivers, no thank you. And I'm going to hope we get one of those guys. So Tyronn Lue will accept our offer, so I am going to go get Tyronn Lue to be on this team, to coach this team up, and we're going to fix that Jazz pick, send that back to the Lakers. I don't know if we'll be doing too much this offseason. We're basically going to hope that a new coach helps us out on where we want to be. We also didn't have a first-round pick in this draft, as Douglas Anderson, and I mean, sure, player options, we got Flag, and accept every single one of these. Qualifying offers, Hami Jaquez and Jamal Shead are both free agents, so definitely some interest in bringing these guys back if we could. And then for free agency, Ricky Council, Hami Jaquez is asking for quite a bit of money, and he does not deserve that much money, so I'm not really sure we'll be bringing him back for the amount he's asking for. But as you can see, we actually have some cap space, which I'm quite surprised by. Let's take a look at it. So we have Maxey, McCain, Grimes, Andrew Wiggins, and you have Cooper Flag, Champagnie, Khalil Ware, and Adem Bona. So immediately, I kind of noticed Michael Porter Jr. being an option for us, so I kind of like the idea of that. Austin Reeves, Christian Brown, but we can go for... we're not bringing back... I think I'm going to go offer Michael Porter Jr. a contract. 12 points per game, or 12 points a game, 39% from 3 would be a really nice floor spacer for us, and we'd be good role players. So I think I might go for him, or do we want somebody a little bit better defensively? But I don't really know if there is a better option. I'm not going for Jaquez again. We have Wiggins, obviously. So Porter would just be coming off the bench in this role. So I'm actually fine with it. So I'm going to go ahead and give Porter a deal because we have the money to do so. And I'm also going to try to get Jamal Shead back as well if we can. So he is right here asking for... Wow, he's asking for a lot of money, actually. So we're going to renounce everybody. Well, we won't renounce these guys. We're going to bring in Michael Porter. We'll renounce Hami Jaquez. Hami Jaquez was just part of the trade as salary filler. We're not going to bring him back. Okay. So basically just going to hope for these guys to come back. That's going to be extra depth to have. So Porter's the big addition this offseason to, play behind Wiggins, and we'll see how that goes. But Jamal Shead, Council, and Dink should all be back, which is great. So here's a player progression. Jamal Shead, Dink, Pate, boom, back. So Flag's up to 93 now. You have Quinn Grimes down to 85. Khalil Ware is up. McCain is up. Wiggins is up. Porter is up. So this is all looking solid, but obviously, like I said, we want to be in the playoffs, and we just have not made it that far yet. So we'll see if this year it's any different. We've gotten to the play-in and did get to the playoffs in that, but I'm hoping to actually clinch the playoffs right out of the gate and not have to worry about fighting our way in there from the play-in tournament. So with a new coach, we'll see if anything's different. My anticipation that it will be, but we shall see. The power rank is going to be 5th overall, and here is proficiency. So obviously we'll move this to balance. Perimeter centric is 4 stars, so we will leave this at balance under Tyronn Lue, which might be better because we've been running perimeter centric throughout the video. So 10-man rotation, I mean, we could probably go down to 9, I guess, if we wanted to. So we'll go 9-man rotation. Maxi McCain, Porter Flag, Khalil Ware, Quentin Grimes, Andrew Wiggins, Jamal Shed, and a dim bonus. They actually want to start Michael Porter, which is fine. So now you have Maxi McCain. It is a damn good team, but will it be a better simulation for us? Because it has not been to this point. Let's simulate the first month or so. So off to a rough start, but we do get some wins to turn things around. Okay, looking better. 7-2. This is the best sim we've seen so far, and this is looking good. So we can keep this pace up. We should be in the playoffs and should be dangerous, which is all we're asking for. So I will see you guys hopefully in the playoffs with the first seed in mind, because right now we do hold that title. We'll see if we can hang on to it, and maybe this year we can bring home a championship to Philadelphia with a new coach, and maybe that was the problem all along. So given the keys, the Cooper Flag has worked out as he actually brings home the MVP trophy. 28 points per game. Stokes is a Rookie of the Year. John Collins, 6th man. Wemby, Defensive Player. Darius, Most Improved. And Cade is your Clutch Player. And Greg Popovich, Coach of the Year. And Aaron Phillips is your Executive. So, All-NBA first team, Cooper Flag obviously with winning MVP. All-NBA second, the Giannis Antetokounmpo Warriors. Interesting. Giannis may be on another team if they don't come back down 2-0 from the Pacers. We'll see, though. Man, it's been a brutal series to watch, though. You know, that's besides the point. But let's go ahead and look at it. First seed in the Eastern Conference. Player stats, he had 28 from Flag, 19 from McCain, 19 from Maxey, 14 from Porter, 12 from Grimes, 11 from Wiggins, and 10 from Khalil Ware. So this is our chance to potentially bring home a title, but we shall see. So here goes nothing. Game 1 will be against the Toronto Raptors, who have Darius, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett, Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Trey Johnson, and Brandon Ingram. Somebody come around against Toronto, and we will sweep them. So off to a great start. Now we play Brooklyn, who always seems to give me issues regardless of what they look like. So we'll see how this goes. We got Cleveland, Indiana on the other side. Game 1 goes to Brooklyn. As I mentioned, the problems are starting, but we do win Game 2. We win Game 3, and we win Game 4, and we win Game 5. So that was a pretty easy path to the conference finals. No sweat off our backs as we take down Toronto and Brooklyn back-to-back. Now we get to deal with Cleveland or Indiana. Game 7 for them, and it's going to be the Cavaliers. So we got San Antonio and New Orleans on the other side. Wow, I don't even know who I'd rather play. Do I want to deal with AJ DeBanza or do I want to deal with Wembanyama? Damn, that's a tough decision. But let's worry about the Cavs first, obviously. We have Garland, Mitchell, Tyson, Mobley, Allen, Hunter, Trey Mann, and Aaron Wiggins. So obviously the Cavs went up 2-0 last night over the Miami Heat. As I'm recording this, we're up 1-0. We're up 2-0. So far, our path has been easy, but the Cavs may have something to say about that. We're up 3-1, and we are going to be going to a Game 6, it looks like. But let's see if we can take care of business in Game 6 and avoid a Game 7 altogether, because I would love not to have to sweat a Game 7. And it looks like that will be the case. We're going to the NBA Finals, 21-11 from Flag. The 76ers or the Cavs try to give us some issues there, but now we draw New Orleans or San Antonio, and that's going to a Game 7. Who would I rather play? I have no idea. It is going to be Wembanyama and the Spurs, though. So I just did an offseason rebuild on them yesterday. So here it goes. They got Castle, they got Sohan, they got Wembanyama. I mean, all you could really ask for. This is going to be a very interesting series, if I had to guess. So game 1 goes to us, 125-101. 21 from Caspers. We had 23 and 14 from Flag. Game 2 goes to them. Okay, game 3 goes to them. Game 4 goes to them. Damn. Okay, so the Spurs have our number right now. Let's see if we can't come back from 3-1. Only one game at a time mentality. The Spurs have the lead right now. Can we ever take it here to force another game in this series? We've taken it a little bit. Can we hang on? No, we cannot. So the Spurs are going to beat us in the NBA Finals. Okay. So obviously with that, we have to run it back. We dominated the East pretty easily. So I anticipate being able to do that same thing, and then we can potentially deal with the Spurs or whoever may be in the finals. So this is going to be a simple run it back, and we will be hoping for a new result kind of thing here. We had the 5th pick. Wow. Oh, that's probably from the Clippers, but I was ready to get it next season. Nathan Solomon, though. Not a bad pick. That's probably who I would have taken anyway. So who else went? So we had Paulo. Yeah, I don't really know much about this draft anyway, so it's probably better I let the assistant GM take care of it. They did a good job anyway. They took the best player we could have taken. So I'm going to sign all these guys. Probably won't sign my second. We probably won't sign the second rounders. Player option Flag will accept, obviously. So last year of his rookie deal, McCain, Shed, and Ware are all free agents. But with the amount of money we do have, I think, you know, the anticipation is bringing pretty much everybody back. Although McCain is asking for a ton of money, which I was not anticipating. Okay. Champagne. We have Maxi. Porter's settled. Solomon, though, he could play right away, so we don't even bring Champagny back. Do we want a different backup center than the Dembona, though? Because he hasn't really developed into anything necessarily. I mean, he's actually 4-3, but per 36 would be 11-9 and a block, so yeah, pretty good. He's unrestricted. Is there a better option than him? I mean, obviously Chloe, but no, there really isn't. So I guess we're going to sign a Dembona, and then we're going to wait on the rest of the guys to obviously sign their contract. So we're not going to renounce. We're going to renounce Champagne, but we're not renouncing these three if we can control that. But it's kind of a mess right now. So if I can do this correctly. So Dembona will be signed, not renouncing these three. So 2K, please stop suggesting that. All right. So now we can hope to bring these guys back for as cheap as possible. I'm going to go through this process. They should all be brought back, and I'll show you guys rotation for year number 4. Cooper Flag is the MVP again, but obviously we don't care about MVP trophies. We are chasing. Ooh, the Spurs went 75-7. Oh my lord, they're going to be dangerous to deal with if we see them in the finals again, which is very possible. Flag makes all defense first team and all NBA first team. So without him, we would probably be in trouble with this video if I had to guess. But here are your player stats. He had 30 from Flag, 19 from McCain, 17 from Maxey, 12 from Porter, 11 from Chloe with 9 rebounds, and then 11 from Andrew Wiggins. So let's see if we can't go out here and win the East again and get to the finals back-to-back here. So we get to deal with Toronto again. We swept them last year, and we will sweep them again. And now we get to deal with Chicago Bulls. The Spurs took care of business over there. So I am technically keeping tabs on the Spurs, but we get to deal with the Bulls who have Luka Doncic now. So definitely not going to sleep on the Bulls here. As we're up 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and we beat them. Okay, so far we have not dropped a game in the East, but now we get to play Miami or Cleveland. Cleveland gave us trouble last year, and it'd actually be funny to play Miami because I'm assuming they still have Embiid. They do. Please give me Miami. I want to see Miami because that would be honestly fun and poetic. So Miami, please win Game 7. I'm simcasting for Miami. I don't know why, but I want to see them. Cleveland gave us some trouble, and I really want to play Embiid in the finals. I think that'd be cool. So asking you shall receive. We get to play Joel Embiid in the conference finals. So Embiid versus the 76ers, which would be absolute cinema. They've built themselves a pretty good roster. They didn't keep Tyler Hero, so it gave them some flexibility. We get to deal with a Bam and Embiid front court. So this will be fun. Game 1 goes to Miami. Game 2, we even it up. We blow them out, actually. 2-1 goes to us. 3-1 goes to us. And Embiid is no match as we make it into the finals again. But it is once again those two teams that both look pretty terrifying. But the Spurs beat us pretty easy last year. So I think I'd rather see the Pelicans, but I don't know if we'll get that lucky. So it is the Spurs again. All right, here it is. Second time is a charm, hopefully, in the finals. Can we take down the Spurs? Game 1 goes to us, 115-101. Good start. Game 2 goes to us, so 2-0 lead so far. 2-1, this is where they even it up. Nope, 3-1. Okay. All we got to do is win Game 5, and we take down the Spurs. But the Spurs are going to have something to say about that if I had to guess. While we have the lead right now, and they may not be able to get back in it, unless if they do, but we have a nice little lead. I think we are going to hang on to this and win a championship with this 76ers squad. 112-102. There's not enough time to score 10 points in 19 seconds. So the rebuild has been completed. We have brought home a championship to Philadelphia. And we can celebrate in front of this Spurs home crowd. Let's go. That's awesome. So they may have taken us out last year, but this year, oh my gosh, Flag. What was that? He just blocked the hell out of Jeremy Solon. Sent him back. I don't even know if I've ever really played. I'm sure I have. I just don't remember. But have I ever shot a shot with Flag? Man, he feels very, very smooth. 115-102. That was probably, unsportsmanlike what I just did. But whatever. We win a championship, and that's all that truly matters. So I will see you guys in the next one. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. I don't know if any team could get eliminated over the weekend. I think there's some Game 4s on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. I'd have to look at it again. So if there's any team eliminated over the weekend, obviously an off-season rebuild will happen over them during the week. And I'll see you guys then. But for now, this is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.